The broadcast is on.
Пане голово, немає.
Mr. Chairman, we can't hear you. Please unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Good afternoon to everybody. Good afternoon to the candidates, also to the general public of Ukraine who watches us online. This is the last interview we are conducting in this round. The advisory group of experts is conducting interviews with the candidates for the position of judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. And our next candidate is Madam Denysenko, Nataliia Nikolaevna, who was admitted to the competitive selection by the decision of the Council of Judges of Ukraine. Madam Denysenko is a deputy head of the Department of Comparative Legal Analysis, head of the Department of Comparative Studies of the Legal Department of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine Secretariat. We are ready to start, so I will give the floor back to the Secretary of the Advisory Group of Experts, Mr. Yaroslav Romaniuk, to explain the algorithm of our work today and to moderate the interview. Please, Mr. Secretary, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Ms. Natalia. Good afternoon, everyone who is watching our broadcast now. Ms. Natalia, at this meeting of the AGE, all 6 members of the EG are present. Some of them are present here in this room. Some of them are participating in the meeting of the AGE remotely via the video conference mode. Today we have the following members present. Chairman of the AGE, Mr. Aleš Zalar, members of the AGE, Ms. Hanna Sukhotska, Ms. Maureen O'Connor, Ms. Oksana Vasilchenko, member of the AGE, Mr. Vasil Shakun, and I, Secretary of the AGE, Yaroslav Romaniuk. Also, at the interview, we have 3 deputy members of the AG present, Mr. Thomas Griffith, Mr. Vitaly Makhinchuk, and Mr. Volodymyr Kuzmenko. I will briefly explain the regulatory framework and procedure of the conduct of the interview. Interview is one of the mandatory stages of evaluation of the criterion of high moral qualities of candidates, and it is being held in line with Article 7 of the methodology. Actually, the interview provides you with the opportunity to refute any possible doubts about your integrity that the AGE members might have. We are grateful to you for communication with the AGE. You've corresponded with us, you provided answers to those questions that we were asking. And now I have to warn you that you cannot provide additional information, documents, or other materials that we requested you to provide earlier, but for some reason you did not provide them, as well as those materials, information, and documents that you've decided to provide today upon your own initiative, even though you failed to provide them earlier, thereby depriving the AGE of the opportunity to study and analyze them. At the same time, we can make an exception if we decide that such exception is justified. Ms. Natalia, I would also like to warn you that our interview is being recorded now and broadcast live on the resources of the AGE and at the website of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. In connection with this, I would like to draw attention of the members of the AGE and your attention, Ms. Natalia, that in case it is necessary to use some sensitive data or information with restricted access, we will be able to suspend the live broadcast so that such information with restricted access would not be disclosed outside of the premises of this room. Ms. Natalia, we intend to complete this interview with you within 1 hour. So that's why we are asking you to be answering our questions concisely on the essence of the asked questions, trying to answer them within up to 3 minutes. After the end of the interview, you will provide you with an opportunity to address the AGE with your concluding statement. And we ask you to have the statement within 5 minutes maximum. Before we move on to the questions to you, Ms. Natalia, I would like to draw attention of the viewers of our broadcast to the fact that candidate Denysenko already participated in the competition for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, and on March 2 of this year, the advisory group of experts held the interview with candidate Denysenko within the framework of evaluation of compliance of high moral qualities. All of those who want to refresh that in memory can find this video recording in the YouTube. Ms. Natalia, do you confirm accuracy and credibility of all the information that you provided within the framework of the previous competition for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court? Yes, I confirm that. Would you like to add anything to those questions and issues which were discussed and raised during the previous interview? No. Okay. Then we are ready to start asking questions to you. Now I'm passing the floor to the co-rapporteurs, and the co-rapporteurs with respect to you are members of the AGE, Ms. Hanna Sukhotska and Ms. Oksana Vasilchenko. Please, colleagues, the floor is yours. Dear Natalia, today we will ask you only those questions which we now have additionally during processing of all the information about you as the candidate for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court. In particular, in response to request of the AGE, you informed about the income that your husband received during the past 6 years. Taking into account the expenses for furnishing of a house, your husband's income during 6 years amounted to about 7,436 hryvnias per month, according to our calculations. So, can you please tell us, was this amount enough to cover living expenses, maintain property, pay taxes within 6 years? Furnishing of the house happened not only at the expense of my husband's funds, but also at the expense of my funds. If you look at my declaration, then in addition to the salary that was quite good, I had also a pension. So in total, that was a much higher amount than his income. So his income was partially used during the furnishing of the house, and all the other expenses were made by me. Besides, if you pay attention to the fact, then the house that is constructed is located 50 kilometers from the Chernobyl zone. So you do not need significant funds like you, for example, need here close to Kiev. We use only those amounts that you provided in your explanations. You showed the income of your husband, you showed expenses of your husband, and according to your calculations, so we reached the conclusion that the remaining amount was 7,000 hryvnias. Thank you. Ms. Hanna, please, the floor is yours.
I have some questions concerning motivation. In your motivation letter, you indicate that you can and know how to work as a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. Could you explain it? Then I will have a second question concerning your motivation. But now, as concerns the work Constitutional Court.
Okay. Since 2016, every year I undergo I take part in the competition for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. I use this phrase in each motivation letter that I'm submitting, since I have worked for many years in the Constitutional Court. According to the previous law dated 1996 and according to the new law, authorities of the court changed a bit, but functions of the judges have remained the same. The main function of judges is to adopt decisions. how to prepare decisions, draft decisions. I know that, but I do not prepare them. I would like to emphasize. I know how to do that, but I don't do that. And how to execute all of those decisions. The only difference between me and judges is that moment of adoption of decisions and discussion during deliberations.
Only the difference between judge and you as preparing the decision, the moment of when the decision
Ну, в
is
секретаріаті
In the Secretariat of the Constitutional Court, we actually provide complete materials to the judges so that they could use our materials as the basis to form the decision itself or rulings. But voting for some position, adoption of our materials, or failure to adopt our positions, that is the discretionary power of judges.
Yes, exactly. No, so no comments, but then I have another question. Because you also had a very negative opinion, and in your motivational letter you indicated that the most competitions for the position of judge at the Constitutional Court of Ukraine were only a screen of the real competition. And ordinary lawyers who independently achieved certain success in the profession without the help of influential relatives, patrons of in the offices of power, did not have the opportunity to occupy high position in any higher bodies of state power. I would like to know, it is your opinion on the Constitutional Court or all courts in Ukraine? Because you said that the first sentence of this in the letter that you know how it is in Constitutional Court. But explain why you think it, what is your knowledge that it is impossible to occupy high position, any higher state authorities without outside.
I witnessed many competitions for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court, and I participated myself. I gave you proof that I participated in 13 competitions for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court. Unfortunately, the a regular lawyer cannot take this position and reach the level of Constitutional Court. Also, I was interested in other competitions, in other state authorities, and I witnessed that sometimes the regular people, experts, were allowed to reach certain stages, but the competition for the positions of judges of the Supreme Court demonstrated that there were problems which were not related to the financial opportunities or background of the person. So I believe that when the competitions were for the positions of the judges of Constitutional Court, there were elements, at least elements of non-integrity and bad quality assessment and evaluation.
Very, very critical and very negative, but despite all, you decided to run for this competition.
так.
What is now your, how to say, motivation to run now for this competition?
З прийняттям нового
After the adoption of the new law on the Constitutional Court and with the creation of the advisory group of experts, I was sure, convinced that there would be a new approach to this competition, because the experts which would not be engaged, not related to any government or state structure. And in this case, you are the competition commission, which is neutral, independent, and non-biased. That's why I decided to participate in the competition, exactly with the participating with a group of experts.
Thank you, thank you. I have no other question.
Наталя Миколаївна, давайте більш детально поговоримо про той обсяг.
In more details, speak about the work which you do as the deputy head of the department of the Secretariat of the Constitutional Court. In your answer to the request of the advisory group of experts, you said that on 15 of January 2016, you personally prepared and signed an analytical information note on the procedure for amending the Constitution, Article 55, at the next session of the Supreme Council of Ukraine. It's about the decision of the Constitutional Court of the 15th of March 2016. Do you verify this information? Yes, I verified. What sources did you use? Do you use when you prepare information analytical note? We understand that this is not your personal opinion. Yes, you worked as analyst. Previous time I didn't inform you, I forgot to inform you that I have a database of constitutions of all countries of the world as of the 1st September 2020 in the languages which I understand, and this is necessary for the Constitutional Court because we always get requests about constitutional regulation of this or that issue. Legal regulation is less interests people, so I'm using this database all the time and I'm filling it constantly. And because I speak 3 foreign languages and also I graduated from the Institute of Foreign Relations, I have friends in different countries in the world who can help me with translation of various acts. So I fill this database in. So it's important also to have access to the sites of constitutional courts, and in different countries it's done in different way. In France it is called Liche de France, and in other countries in different way. I always use these databases. Also, I pay attention to the Venice Commission site, though it is lagging behind. I will clarify my question. According to the information from an online similarity detection service, the mentioned note contains borrowings from other works without attribution. Article, the procedure for adoption, amendment, and abolition of the Constitution, authored by Udovik. I will ask the Secretariat to demonstrate it on the screen for you to understand what's all this about. Then adopting from the article, mechanism for adopting the Constitution of Ukraine in search of the optimal variants, authored by Telipko 2008. In addition, it contains references to websites with papers that have non-functioning domains, especially Pravoznavets and others. From the point of view of the observer, does it mean that the information analytical note was prepared properly? Is it correct to make references to the authors of the materials which you use for preparing this note? I don't know these sources. Maybe there was some references, cross-references. I don't know these sources. But in the notes, we always try to make references. It's a requirement not only of in terms of academic integrity, but it's a requirement of the Constitutional Court since my first minute of work there, because The judges are always experts in their area and they know where this comes from. They always ask for references. Why then in this note which you prepared and signed there was no reference to those sources? I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember. Also, it was in 2016. If it was yesterday, if it were yesterday or the day before yesterday, but 2016. Also, we have never got any questions from the judges in terms of where have you got it and so on. You said that you use only the constitutional acts of foreign countries, but we are talking about articles, monographs. If you use them in your work, do you make references to them? Yes, yes. It's not only to articles. Recently, the decision was taken where the quote from Churchill was used, so we made reference to the Churchill's speech even. But this is mainly that's its reference to the Bank of Students' papers. So there's a question about this information note. I can't remember this, but for the judge, it's not my text which is important. It's important how in different constitutions this or that provision is formulated. Also, you may see the references to how many constitutions. We are not talking about the references to constitutions. Yes, if we write down that the article this and that of the Constitution of the Netherlands, it's one thing, but it's not just about constitution article of the Constitution, but it's a set of phrases. It would be clearly understood that in any student's paper, in the article, in the monograph, we will not change the content of the Constitution of Netherlands, Poland, but we are speaking about the materials, the phrases, which are just word-for-word quotations. So we got this that's question, and we want you to answer it. Yes, I understand you, but I always make reference to those sources which I use. I have no more questions. Do other members of the AG, members of the AG questions to candidate Denysenko? If there are no questions, then we are ready to finish interview with you. But before closing it, we give you an opportunity to make a statement to the AG, final concluding statement for not longer than 5 minutes. I prepared to my final statement. I would like me to be heard. It's not a speech of a highly esteemed statesperson. These are words of a regular person of Ukraine. For me, it's one of the dozens of competitions for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court, and since the very beginning, this competition has always been very difficult. Unfortunately, it's not easy to win this competition, though it's only the victory which brings glory to the beneficiary. But this competition gives hope for the future of my state, Ukraine, the future where there will not be a selection of loyal and convenient persons, or depending on the selection of candidates on the basis of the background, of the social situation of candidates, and to select among the lawyers experts with different specialty and various experiences very difficult. Some people put at stake their future. The others For the others, it's a step on the way to reaching his goal. But we all have to think about the future and prepare good foundation for this, which will be without corruption, embezzlement, and empty promises. I've been working for the Constitutional Court for more than 26 years. I witnessed the various stages in this authority, and when society lost the trust to the court, I know the strong points and weak points of this court, but what is important for the society are the people who work there. It's not only the war which may demonstrate the drawbacks of this system, but there's also a society which doesn't want to live under certain drawbacks, and this competition is aimed at setting up independent and effective authority. We always need to be responsible for what we say and what we do. And if you don't trust your state, this leads to the fallout of the state. And I hope that my country will be able to win over Russians and also overcome the not trust to the state by its own people. And I hope that lots of our heroes and heroines will come back in case of victory from the battlefield. They will have to come back to Ukraine so that people are able to live normal life in its state, and this competition gives hope to those who couldn't even think about being appointed to the high positions, and those who want to be important for this state. And in conclusion, I want to say in Latin about myself: glory to Ukraine, glory to heroes. Thank you for the answering questions. And on this, the interview of the advisory group of experts with the candidate for the position of the judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Denysenko Nataliia Mykolaievna, is finished. Please leave us this.